You tolerated it once. And that was the moment everything changed. You just didn't notice it yet. Not loudly, not visibly, but permanently. Because tolerance, even once, is permission. And permission becomes pattern. Pattern becomes reputation. Pattern becomes standard. And standards define how people treat you for the rest of the relationship. Not once, not occasionally, but consistently. Here's what most people don't understand. People aren't testing your boundaries to see if they exist. They're testing to see if you'll enforce them. And the moment you don't, the hierarchy shifts. You've taught them something. Not through words, through tolerance. Stay until the end, because I'll show you the exact moment people lock in their treatment of you, and the one response that resets it immediately. Let me be clear. Tolerating something once isn't kindness. It's data. Data they will use to determine what's acceptable. And once something is marked acceptable, it becomes repeatable. It rarely gets downgraded. Not because they're testing you, because you trained them. They are simply following the script you approved. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." The same applies to relationships. They become dyed with the color of what you accept. Tolerate disrespect once, it becomes the baseline. Tolerate lateness once, it becomes the expectation. Tolerate being deprioritized once, it becomes your position. And position, once lowered, is difficult to raise. Not impossible, but costly. More costly than preventing it in the first place. Here's the truth. People don't remember what you say. They remember what you allow. And what you allow once, they assume you'll allow again. Not maliciously, psychologically. Because humans optimize for efficiency. And if something worked without consequence, they repeat it. That's not cruelty. That's pattern recognition. And you provided the pattern. They just followed it. Epictetus said, "We are disturbed not by things, but by the views we take of them." Most people think this means accept everything. It doesn't. It means don't internalize. But not internalizing doesn't mean not responding. Stoics didn't tolerate disrespect. They rejected it. Calmly, immediately, without emotion. And that rejection set the boundary. Here's what happens when you tolerate something once. Stage 1. The event occurs. Someone crosses a line. Small, subtle, maybe even unintentional. And you think, it's not worth the conflict. Maybe I'm overreacting. I'll let it slide this time. So you do. And the cost feels small in that moment. Because short-term peace feels safer than short-term tension. And in that moment, you encoded the behavior as acceptable. Not in words, in action. Stage 2. They register it. Not consciously, but socially. Their brain logs. That behavior produced no resistance. And no resistance signals green light. Green lights invite repetition. So the behavior gets filed under safe to repeat. Not because they're calculating, because that's how social learning works. We repeat what works. We avoid what doesn't. And you just showed them it works. Stage 3. It repeats. Days later, weeks later, the same behavior returns. And now, it feels worse. Because it's not new anymore. It's becoming normal. And normal is dangerous. And once something is normal, it stops feeling wrong. Addressing it feels like you're creating a problem out of nothing. But you're not. The problem was created the first time you tolerated it. You're just noticing it now. Here's the rule. Tolerance teaches. And what it teaches becomes your reality. Not slowly, instantly. The first time you accept something, you've set the standard. And standards, once established, are presumed permanent. until something interrupts them, until you enforce otherwise. Let me show you what this looks like. Someone interrupts you mid-sentence. You pause. You let them finish. You don't address it. That's tolerance. And tolerance signals, interrupting me is fine. Next conversation. They interrupt again and again. Not because they don't respect you, because you showed them interruption has no cost. And behaviors without cost become habits. Habits become character judgments. Here's what changes when you stop tolerating. Same scenario. Someone interrupts. You pause, you look at them, you wait. Then you continue from exactly where you were interrupted. No anger, no lecture, just continuation. That pause, that brief reset, is correction. And correction recalibrates behavior, because cost rewires expectation immediately. If this is clicking, subscribe, because this isn't theory. This is behavioral mechanics. And once you understand mechanics, you stop reacting emotionally and start responding structurally. That shift changes everything. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." Stop arguing for respect. Stop explaining why something bothers you. Just enforce the boundary. Once, clearly, without apology. Because apology dilutes enforcement. And diluted enforcement is just sophisticated tolerance. And sophisticated tolerance is still weakness. Here's what people miss. They think setting boundaries means having a conversation. It doesn't. Boundaries aren't discussed. They're demonstrated. You don't announce, "I won't tolerate lateness." You respond to lateness with consequence. You leave. You reschedule. You reduce access. No speech, just response. And response, when consistent, teaches faster than words ever could. Here's the brutal truth. If you tolerate something once, you've taught them to try it again. If you tolerate it twice, you've confirmed it's acceptable. If you tolerate it 3 times, you've made it your standard. And standards don't change through conversation. They change through consequence. Quiet, immediate, consistent. They change through discomfort. I used to tolerate everything. Small things. Comments that felt off. Behavior that didn't sit right. But I thought, it's not that bad. Maybe I'm being too sensitive. I don't want to cause problems. So I stayed quiet. And every time I did, I lowered my own ceiling. The behavior intensified. Not dramatically, gradually. Because I kept signaling, this is fine. And fine becomes normal. Normal becomes expected. Expected becomes standard. One day I stopped. Someone said something dismissive. And instead of laughing it off, I went quiet. Not angry quiet, observant quiet. I didn't argue. I didn't explain why it bothered me. I just adjusted my energy, reduced engagement, changed my availability. And something shifted, not in volume, in power, not in that moment, but over the next few interactions, they recalibrated because they felt the cost, and cost creates awareness, not through punishment, through absence of reward. Here's what the Stoics knew. You train people through what you accept, not through what you say. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Translation: stop caring if people think you're overreacting. Start caring if you're underprotecting, because underprotection costs you everything. Overprotection costs you nothing. Here's the part most people resist accepting. Here's the shift. Stop tolerating to keep peace. Start enforcing to create respect. Stop explaining why something's wrong. Start demonstrating it through response. Stop warning people. Start showing them. Because warnings without follow-through are just noise. and noise gets ignored. But consequences? Consequences get remembered. Final truth. Tolerate it once, expect it forever. Not because people are testing you, because you showed them it's acceptable. And acceptable behaviors don't need permission. They only need opportunity. They just repeat. Until they meet resistance. You want different treatment? Stop tolerating what you've been accepting. Not loudly, not emotionally, just structurally. Reduce access, change availability, withdraw reward. No announcement, no negotiation, just recalibration. And recalibration, when consistent, resets the standard. Not through conversation, through consequence. Tolerate it once, and you've set the bar. Enforce it once, and you've raised it. The choice is yours, but the consequences are automatic, and the cost of choosing wrong is permanent.